This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Greetings viewers, you're watching Pulse of Africa. I'm Frau Namak, bringing you today's latest news. First, here are our top stories today. Zambian president calls for fair inclusive global system. Rwanda partners with China CRBC to launch Africa's first self-flying air taxi. Algeria hosts third Intra-African trade fair, eyes $44 billion in deal. Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema on Thursday called for a fair and inclusive global system in which all countries are treated equally, during a ceremony in the national capital of Lusaka to receive letters of credence from newly accredited ambassadors to Zambia. Hichilema emphasized the need for a rule-based international order grounded in fairness and mutual respect. The Zambian president said no country should consider itself above others, adding that global interdependence means every country's actions have an impact on others. He pointed out that ongoing conflict and instability in some parts of the world have had spillover effects, underscoring the importance of international cooperation in promoting peace. Tunisian President Kais Saied met with the Minister of Interior and Safety of the Republic of Korea, Giorgio. The Tunisian presidency said in a statement. During the meeting, Saied said Tunisia is committed to further strengthening friendly ties and cooperation with the Republic of Korea, particularly in the economic, social, and digital and security fields. He also hailed the Korean experience in governance and democratic transition through investment in new technologies and its initiative to launch a platform to listen to citizens and their suggestions on the development of political strategies and government action plans, the statement said. For his part, John reaffirmed the Republic of Korea's willingness to reinforce the already excellent bilateral cooperation, noting the mutual support and solidarity shown in the Tunisian people's successful fighting against COVID-19. Rwanda and China Road and Bridge Corporation have partnered to launch Africa's first ever public flight of a self-flying electric air taxi in the country, the Rwandan government said. The initiative solidifies Rwanda's position as Africa's hub for testing and implementing cutting-edge aviation technology, the Rwandan Minister of Infrastructure said in a statement on Wednesday. A live demonstration of the E-Hang EH-216S pilotless electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft was staged Thursday morning during the African Aviation Summit, which runs from Thursday to Friday in Kigali, the capital. The showcase aims to provide stakeholders and regulators across the continent with a real-time case study in advanced air mobility, the ministry said. The International Solar Alliance, an intergovernmental group on renewable energy deployment, and officials of African countries met in Ghana on Wednesday to discuss new pathways to fast-track solar energy deployment to boost Africa's agenda for universal access to energy. The International Solar Alliance, an intergovernmental group on renewable energy deployment, and officials of African countries met in Ghana on Wednesday to discuss new pathways to fast-track solar energy deployment to boost Africa's agenda for universal access to energy. During the 7th ISA Regional Committee meeting, participants called for a new epoch of transformative actions in Africa's solar transition and sustainable energy development. John Abdullah Jinapor, chairperson of the 7th meeting, and Ghana's Energy and Green Transition Minister pledged efforts to work closely with all member states to ensure that their energy aspiration translated into finance projects on the ground. Africa represents 17% of the world's population, yet consumes just 4% of the world's energy. Bridging the gap is our collective opportunity, transforming pipeline projects into bankable ones, providing low-risk premiums and attracting greater private capital, Jinapor added. Turning to global headlines, a dozen patents belonging to Swedish inventor and philanthropist Alfred Nobel and lost for almost 50 years were recently found in Swedish couple's summer house, the Nobel Foundation told AFPA. Nobel, who discovered dynamite in 1867 and created the Nobel Prizes in his 1895 will, had hundreds of patents in several countries, most of them concerning production methods and use for explosive using nitroglycerin. We got a call from a person working at an auction place, the head of the Nobel Foundation, Hanna Sijani, told AFP. He had this document that came to him from a couple in the southern part of Sweden, in Blekinge, who found those documents in their summer home. We looked into it and saw that these documents are really great importance that we want to keep for our future generations. Italian luxury king Giorgio Armani, designer to the stars and leaders of a high-end lifestyle empire, has died at the age of 91. The world lost a giant today. He made history and will be remembered forever, fellow Italian icon Donatella Versace said on Instagram. The best-known contemporary designer Armani opened his fashion house in Milan in 1975, quickly rising to the top of the industry and going on to dress Hollywood. His funeral on Monday will be private, but well-wishers will be able to pay their respects at a memorial chamber open on Saturday and Sunday in Milan, his company said in a statement. The group did not give a cause of death, but Armani missed some shows earlier this year due to unspecified health issues.
The story of resurgent Ethiopia and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. All the time, Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Moving on to business news, the third Intra-African trade fair opened Thursday in Algiers, capital of Algeria, with organizers expecting up to $44 billion in trade and investment deals. Jointly organized by African Bank, the African Union, and the AFCFTA Secretariat, the week-long fair runs until September 10 at the International Conference Center and the Palace Days Exposition, bringing together over 35,000 participants and 2,000 exhibitors from more than 75 countries. Algerian President Abdelmadjid Tebboune inaugurated the event, calling for stronger economic integration to boost Africa's global role. Finally, OpenAI is set to produce its first artificial intelligence chip next year in partnership with the U.S. semiconductor giant Broadcom, the Financial Times reported on Thursday, citing people familiar with the matter. OpenAI plans to put the chip to use internally rather than make it available to external customers, the AFT report said, citing one person close to the project. OpenAI, which helps commercialize generative AI capable of producing human-like responses to queries, relies on substantial computing power to train and run its system. Before we close, here's a quick look at the latest global commodity prices updates. Next, let's take a look at the current weather forecast. That's all from Pulse of Africa today. Thank you for being with us.
This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.